What's going on, guys? This is Joby Shaw with Let's Learn Archery, and today we are going to be shooting 100. But first we're going to warm up closer and sight our way in back to 100 because I don't have a clue if this bow sighted in or this tape sighted in. And I just moved my sight out a little bit earlier, so I know for a fact it ain't. And I just changed rest, and the windage isn't right for this rest on these arrows because the spine's just a little bit different. So I'll start out at a reasonable distance here. Like 68 yards. I'll let one rip and see if this hits the block, and we'll just slowly work our way backwards. Thought I didn't have a release for a second. Was almost angry. It hit it. I don't know where. Looks like I hit it low. So I'll know to, as we head backwards, to add a little bit extra yardage because they hit the block, but I don't see it through the rangefinder. Give this spot a run. I am not comfortable where we're at right now, like the angle that I'm shooting. Let's set this. We're 85 now. I'm not comfortable at all, so this could just be a absolute crap fest. Plus, if there's any wind, man, shooting 100 yards, it's just difficult. If we have clearance, you know. That looked like a hit in the dot. There's a shadow that just kind of hung out right. I'm just going to fire two of an equivalent shot and adjust my sight off of that. Both look like a hit. Yeah, they're really good, solid in the dot at 9 o'clock, so let's go back farther. That was 85 right there, so I mean, we really only got another 15 yards before we hit 100. If my calculations are correct, I didn't really count that off. We may be a fuzz past 100, but we're not too far past it right now. This is 100.5, so 100.5 yards, whatever. So let's go to 100 and then run it past it a little bit, just to maybe get us on the spot. We're just hitting a little bit left. I just want to hit the block. I don't like losing arrows, and I know Dan McCarthy doesn't like me losing them. So I think I got clearance. Oh, yeah, let's do it. That was a really good shot. I think it hit just low in the block. So I'm actually gonna slide this shade out of the way. Give it another like half-ish yard, quarter-ish to half a yard. best shot I ever took in my life. It's still a couple clicks low, but bye guys. Gotcha. May have lost you for a moment there. You fell over. I really don't want to be playing with wind. I really wish this wasn't 3 degrees uphill. It says I'm at 101 yards now, so, but I'm still hitting a little bit low. Maybe I just moved back. My footing doesn't feel the same. A little bit low, a little bit left. That wind's dragging me. I hit probably, I don't know, 10, 12 inches left, I guess, of where I broke. I was hitting pretty straight up and down at first. Was a really good shot. I just aimed right side dot and actually crushed it. I mean, it just hit it really nice in the dot, real solid. You got Camden and my mom going down the driveway on the Razor right now. Nice too. Okay, this is where I was at, kind of just favoring low left and walked it up. Got him pretty close, but still got some fine tuning. Then I can start shooting a group. I mean, that dot's, it seems like I'm aiming at a humongous dot. I think I may just flip it and aim at a smaller dot. I think that would help quite a bit, but just continue to get this thing sighted in, and then we can see how good I can do. Do that and do that. Now what the heck is this? I can't load 2 arrows at once. Man. You'd think I'd learn this archery stuff after a while, but I'm also going to get that pin turned way down. I'm going to be aiming at a lot smaller dot. And this is 101 yards, so just where the footing's really nice. I may actually move back to like 104. But it's kind of uphill. That broke really good. I was aiming at a lot smaller dot, and it actually hit just left of it, and I was favoring the right side of it, so may never get a really good tight group, but that lateral line, I think I'll definitely be able to get something pretty good out of that. It's like basically there's a saddle up there that pulls freaking wind up it like a crazy person. And I'm always shooting in it, and it's constantly going up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. But I want to try to shoot the best possible group because I don't want to have to do this 2 or 3 times. I'd like for my videos not to be 30 minutes a piece. I actually broke in that dot, believe it or not. And it is, I don't know, 6 inches straight left, just like the other one. So, let's give it some love clicks. At this point, I could just aim further right, but I really don't want to. I aimed about favoring right side of the dot. I was gonna say, I was favoring right side of the dot, trying to aim off the right side, and broke about 4 inches straight right of it, and just absolutely haymakered it right there. That's funny. That's what you get for shooting in the wind and moving your sight and some stuff. So maybe we can aim at the dot, break on the dot, and hit the dot all at the same time. Wind was coming down that time. Wind was coming down the hill. So what I did was, as I assumed it was going to hit a little lower, I aimed top of the dot and it actually hit the dot. So Uno in the dot with 20-mile-an-hour gust. Cool. That wasn't that good of a shot. Shot-wise, it wasn't very good. It broke that far high right of the dot and it actually hit behind my pin. So that's a really good sign to let me know that this setup is pretty forgiving. I actually collapsed in my front shoulder and I was starting to push out the bottom a little bit, and I picked it up with my back end. Figured it would have actually chucked that arrow a lot higher than it was, but it actually hit right behind my pin, which is pretty nice. It was a pretty straight over the top shot. And it looks like I hit the dot. I tried to move through that one a little bit faster. As far as the 101-yard mark goes, I would never take this mark as a mark anytime uphill. That was another tip that I should have thrown in with my little short / 30-minute long video about sighting a bow, is make sure you do that stuff on level ground, because it's just, man, it's tough if it's not on level ground. Man, I'm actually shooting like I know what I'm doing here. It's weird. It don't happen very often. Actually hitting that little, I think it's probably a 3-4 inch dot, I'd say. Actually hitting it. That was another one of those shots where I just it wasn't nice. I mean, it's exactly square with the dot, it's just out on the left side, probably 2 inches off the dot. And another thing, shooting this distance, it's not great for setting your peep height. It's something you want to do after you get going, but as far as, you know, how you're both shooting, it's really impossible to shoot really fine 100-yard groups. I had really flat ground and no wind. I had 100% feel necessary that I should be able to shoot a 3-inch group as long as my pin breaks on the dot every time. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. The wind started sucking up, and I actually aimed about 4 inches right of the dot. It actually hit about 4 inches right of the dot. So this wind down here apparently didn't matter up there, which is, like I said, the hard truth of shooting in this little area that I'm at. I probably may redo this and set up a little bit different. Maybe put the target in the woods and go stand in the driveway. I'd probably get a lot better results, because it's actually shooting way better than it's hitting. I'm gonna say that one probably hit it. I was aiming in the, yeah, it hit it. Hey, the wind right now, it's coming down off the hill, and then it's hitting me from this side, and then I can hear it sucking up through the woods and pulling up through that little spot there on the hill. It's actually shot really well, and I'm not ashamed at all to show you, but I'm going to see if it's possible for me to be able to get a target set up in a lane over here and shoot it on a lot more level ground, and maybe take a little bit of wind factor out. These bows, they shoot, and I'd rather give them the whole benefit of the doubt instead of just shooting a good 100-yard group when, to be honest, the wind could have been helping me. I know what kind of shots I was making, but regardless. So here's what I was talking about. You know, I had arrows hitting really good in the dot, but the wind and stuff like that, I just feel like I could tighten this up really good if I had no wind and a little flatter place to shoot. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you can, like this video and subscribe. God bless, and remember this, guys. This is so important. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn.